So it's Sunday again, and we got 6 more inches of snow this morning. Church was not canceled, so we did dig ourselves out. Next week is our Christmas program, so we needed to be there for Sebastian to be able to practice for his part in the Christmas program. And so we got there and were able to worship with friends and family. It was a small crowd this morning. I'm sure a lot of people had a hard time getting out. We have alley parking. My driveway is in the alley, and the alleys did not get plowed. And 6 to 8 inches of snow is a lot to drive through. So my son, he's awesome. He got out there this morning and shoveled us out, and shoveled enough that I could get a running start and get through that snow and get out of the alley to be at church this morning. And I'm so grateful for being able to be there, because after a week of not having, our Bible study was canceled on Thursday night, and we didn't have church on Sunday, and the Thursday before was Thanksgiving, so we didn't have our Bible study. And so it was just this, it feels like it's been a really long time since we've been together to worship. And of course, not that we don't worship on our own, but that corporate worship is just such an encouraging part of the week, because even when we are doing things on our own, in our own space, it just is different. I heard something this week about, that your relationship with God is your relationship with God, and He is enough. He should be all that you need. And while if He was all, like if you were in prison and He was all that you had, He would be all that you need. He would be everything that you need. But He made other people, and He made community. And He said in Genesis, that man needed a helper. So we weren't necessarily made to do life alone. And we see that all over the New Testament about worshiping together and do not neglect the assembly together of church. So there is something vibrant and vital about meeting together. And so though I still was spending time in the Word, and I was studying my study, we had, yesterday we had our Women's Connection group, there is something that kind of just pulls it all together when you come and worship together. And so today was a great day of fellowship and worship. Christmas songs are so amazing, and if you have never really sat and looked at the lyrics of songs and where they come from, Christian music especially, just what they mean, and either what they mean to the person who is writing the song, where they come from in the word and the context of them. Songs can just be so, music is such a great way to worship and just to feel alive in your soul. And so understanding the lyrics that you're singing, it brings extra meaning to that activity. And so this morning we sang several classic Christmas hymns, and it was just really beautiful. So I will be putting together a sermon summary after I give some more mulling over it, but it was the part 3 of chapter 1, verses 12 through 18. So we went over verses 15 through 18, and it really coincided so beautifully with some things that have happened, some things that I've been going through with other family members, and just feelings that I've had inside of me that border on temptation turning to sin, and where is that line drawn? And so today was a day that really helped me inside my heart to get a better picture of how to think, how to change my mindset, how to recognize some of the things and feelings and thoughts that I've been having regarding these situations that just sit on the precipice of not being righteous, not being godly, not being the right actions. And so my thoughts then could take me into, just drive me down a deeper pit of either anxiety, depression, despair, and none of those things are what God has for us. And so how do we change that? And if we look in Philippians 4:8, I think it talks about that the things that we are to think on, they should be true, they should be noble, they should be pure. There's a whole list of things. Like, if it's not these things, then it's not a right thought. It might be the thought that we're having, but those are the thoughts that we need to take captive. And how do we reposition our thoughts on these things that are happening, these activities or these things that are happening in our lives? How do we reposition the way that we think them, to think about them the way God wants us to think about them, to see them how God wants us to see them, and to walk with Him through this time? And often that's the difference between a trial and a temptation. When we take our temptation and when we do what's right, the temptation for me to be despairing about my parenting skills, my friendship skills, right? I could take the things that are happening and turn them into despair, which will take me into a place where I'm not being kind to others, where I am not being generous, I am not being loving, I am not being any of the things that God calls me to be, because of these emotions that I'm allowing to ruminate in my thought, in my mind, and in my heart. Because they don't stay in my mind, they go in my heart. And out of the overflow, what's in our heart is what overflows out to people, right? So if I allow these things, even though they seem like really small things, and I have a right to be upset, or I have a right to be, our right to be doesn't mean we should be. Like, I have a right to be angry about what's happening. But allowing myself to be angry and ruminate that, is that helpful? Is that good? Is that godly? What is that going to do for me or for the situation if I allow that to take hold? Am I in control of my feelings? Self-control, having self-control. Anyway, it was just so timely for me and so helpful. So some of these thoughts will be thoughts that I include in my sermon summary, but this is like the overall piece that I've walked away with today, is just how God is teaching me right now that the way that I think, that's my temptation to allow myself to ruminate in feelings that the world would have me think. How can I take that, recognize that, and take that and turn that into what God has for me, which is to think on things that are true. Is what I'm saying true? Maybe it still could be ugly. Is it pure? When I talk about it to other people, am I allowing it to be gossip, or is my talk pure? Is it noble? Is it righteous? Are the things that I am thinking and feeling the way God wants me to think and feel? And when I can think and feel in those terms, I can still be honest about the situation and not allow it to take me to a place of darkness. The situation might be dark, but my heart does not have to be. So I pray for other people, I pray for you, I pray that you will, in this season, this is a happy season. Christmas can be a really happy season. It can also be a really sad season. There's some, some people go through things, and Christmas can be a very sad season. But what are you going to do with it? Are you going to allow that to control you and take you into the pit of despair or into darkness? Or will you reposition the way that you think, to think the way God wants you to think? And it's all laid out there in the Bible. It's all laid out there in James, in Philippians, in Colossians, in 1 Corinthians. It's there in Matthew chapter 5, the Sermon on the Mount. So I thank you for listening today and letting me share my heart with you. I hope that you will be encouraged to look at these passages, and for me, I need to put them to memory, because the way I think often drives the way that I feel, and the way I feel then impacts the way I act. And I do not want that to be, I want that to be true, but I want it to be good. I want, when people look at me, what does my neighbor think about me? Does my, and this was something that our pastor mentioned only in the opposite, but what does my neighbor think? What does my friends think? Whatever. I care what my neighbor thinks. Does my neighbor see Jesus in me? I care what my kids think. Do my kids see a mom who loves the Lord? I care what my friends think. I should care, because they should be able to see Jesus in me. Whether they like that or not, that's on them. But they should see that I am different, that I love Jesus. That's what I want people to see in me. Well, I hope that you have a great rest of your day. Again, thanks for listening. I am super excited about even going to work today, because it's an opportunity for me to share through my actions what I've learned, to take my thoughts captive, to change them into godly thoughts, so that they will drive a godly attitude and godly actions. Have a great day. Bye now.